Nice.
All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Directors meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have a quorum, so I appreciate everyone's attendance, and I know you all have busy schedules, especially with Jamie being out of town. We appreciate you joining us, and the agenda has been distributed. At this time, just seeking a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move the motion.
Thanks, Dave.
I'll second.
All right, thanks, Denise. Also, the minutes of our last meeting have been distributed. They look good, but at this time, seeking a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Thanks, Jane.
Second.
Thanks, Dave. All right, and that brings, before we get into our committee reports and our resolutions that we're going to discuss today, as is tradition, we like to recognize the employees of the organization who have dedicated their service and loyalty over many years. And today is certainly no exception. Today we have Ken Stager Sr., 30 years of service. We certainly appreciate that, and I ask you to step forward so you can be recognized by the board.
So I'm going to remove this mask, sorry, to talk a little bit about Ken, who I would say is one of the most respected people at CDTA. There's a difference, I think, sometimes between being popular and being respected. I think Ken's popular too, but as I kind of make my way around the organization, if you started to ask me, 10 most respected people in the company, Ken's on that list. He's always been interested in mechanics, mechanical issues, mechanical devices, and fixing them. And when his uncle, more than 30 years ago, who was a CDTA bus operator, told him that he should think about applying to work at CDTA, he did just that, and we were, somebody here was pretty smart and hired Ken. Right. I don't know who's taking credit for that. I don't know if that's not Collins. I think Collins is taking credit for Ken Stager as well. But before or after high school, Ken worked down at the Albany Institute of History and Art as a security guard and worked on cars in his spare time. He started at CDTA as a cleaner. That seems to be a common story, especially for a lot of the successful people here at CDTA. There was one, and there's another guy who just left the room who in the same boat. They started as cleaners and worked their way up. Ken says that his career here at CDTA has given him an opportunity to create relationships inside and outside the company. For those of you that go to APTA conferences, you know that Ken has been a participant at a number of conferences and has always been involved in the mechanical rodeo. Ken is one of the few, you may have been the first, I'm not sure here, but he is a mastered certified technician in heavy-duty truck and transit buses. A mastered technician, certified. There's a series of exams that you have to go through. These are not pushover exams. These are difficult, complicated things, and they designate you as the cream of the crop. It really is a huge accomplishment. And we have been pushing to have more people certified as master technicians. And honestly, people are afraid of the process because it is a very difficult process. Ken took it on and said he had to do it all over again. His career at CDTA, the direction he has taken, he would do it all over again unless, these are in Ken's words, he had a chance to be a band member with the Rolling Stones. I don't know about you and Mick Jagger, but
I think we worked out well.
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm thinking about Ken and I were talking earlier about the differences today in the technology, and really that is the big change, right? Technology. Working on a bus used to be you needed to know the difference between a wrench and hammer and a screwdriver. Today, although it matters, you better know how to operate a laptop. You better know how to interpret the information that's on the screen before you start touching a $450,000 piece of equipment. So that's probably the biggest change that Ken has noticed. He talks about overhead signs. If those of you remember, overhead destination signs used to be rollers. I remember when we went from a manual roller to a push button, we thought technology was taking over the world. Well, no longer are there paper rollers, they're electronic destination signs, backlit. And now, we even, you'll see with the blue line, have blue destination signs, and they're quite attractive, but visually easy for customers to see. Ken has enjoyed the challenges of electric technology, and he thinks that we're going to be moving there really quick. If he had to choose his favorite memory at CDTA, it was his first trip to the International Bus Rodeo in 2006 in Cleveland, Ohio. And the reason I think he really enjoyed it was he got to sneak off and go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Football Hall of Fame in his spare time. But that's one of the benefits of traveling. You get to meet people who work in transit and related industries, but you also get to have a little bit of fun. Ken says he's made lots of friends here. He's happy about that. He's made a lot of friends across the industry, and whenever we need to know what's going on at another property, mechanically, oftentimes, we'll look to Ken. In his spare time, most of the people in maintenance know this, he's usually out at Lebanon Valley Speedway with his son, Ken Jr., who is also a trainer here at CDTA. Ken thinks sometimes of two different people. Ken is studious. He studies everything. He goes over it 3 or 4 times. His son is almost as good, but doesn't seem to have to study. He just picks it up and it almost comes naturally. So it's interesting to watch the two guys operate. Big NASCAR fan, likes to camp, fish, and tinker in the garage. We asked him about retirement. He said nothing immediately planned, but he's wondering if maybe Donna might like to move south and have a home in Florida 6 months out of the year. Whatever you do, Ken, we always wish you the best. Congratulations on a tremendous career here. Thank you. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Great to work here. I get such great direction. Oh, I put my mask on. Hang on. Most of you know that I can't juggle more than one thing at a time. Take more of it.
Yeah, you as well. Congratulations.
I know a number of board members know Ken. He truly is really the cream of the crop. You know, it's obviously when you're a nice guy, that makes it easy. But I mean, technically, I'm not sure we have a more competent person. I mean, he trains everyone now. I mean, if you're trained by Ken, you're usually pretty good. If you're not trained by Ken, we got to get you over to Ken.
Yeah. And it impresses me how, Ken was referred by a family member. Now his son works here. It's, the family atmosphere of, being part of the organization and the dedication and loyalty is really impressive. And we appreciate Ken's service. At this time, we're going to move on to the committee reports, and I'll start with the Board Operations Committee report. The Board Operations Committee met on September 16th via Microsoft Teams or in person here at 110 Waterville Ave. There were no consent agenda items, several administrative discussion items. The committee reviewed agendas for the September meetings. We also set the November and December board meeting calendar. We will have regular schedule of meetings in both November and December. The schedule has been provided. I think that went out by email on Monday, so just check your calendars. Our contract for lobbying services is set to expire, and we have a request for proposals on the street. Action is expected at the November or December meetings. We are satisfied with our current firm and the work that they provide for us. We continue discussion around electrification of the fleet. Lots of issues to consider as we move forward. The governor's office is considering an RFP for an upstate master plan. This would allow each property to be looked at closely regarding facility and charging capacity, as well as relationships with providers. As of now, we could likely house 4 more electric buses with our current physical and electrical infrastructure. Anything more than that would put a strain on our system and is likely to require more investment and further coordination with our providers. The Strategic and Operational Planning Committee will continue this discussion and consider ways for us to incorporate more electric buses into the fleet. The next meeting of the Board Operations Committee is scheduled for Wednesday, October 14th, 2020, 9:15 via Microsoft Teams or here at 110 Waterville Ave. So that concludes my report unless there's other further comments or questions. Seeing that there are none, next up is our Performance Monitoring and Audit Committee, and Denise.
Yes, thank you. The Performance Monitoring and Audit Committee met on September 23rd via Microsoft Teams, as well as at the 110 Waterville Avenue. We have 2 consent agenda items today. The first one is approval of a contract for Northway Express Service. The Northway Express Service provides commuter service from Saratoga County to destinations in downtown Albany. We contract with Upstate Transit / Brown Coach to operate this service. This contract expires in November. And given the situation currently, the staff did not think it would be a fair and competitive marketplace at this time to issue competitive bids. So the recommendation is to extend the contract for 1 year. The staff recommends awarding a 1-year sole source contract to Upstate Transit. Upstate Transit has agreed to keep the same price as last year. And we will conduct the RFP next year. I now have a cat in my camera here, sorry. So we need a motion to award a 1-year sole source contract to Upstate Transportation of Saratoga LLC to provide Northway Express service for an amount not to exceed $1.5 million.
So at this time, seeking a motion for resolution number 35, awarding sole source 1-year contract for Northway commuter service for an amount not to exceed $1.5 million.
So moved. This is Jackie.
Oh, thanks, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. I'll second.
Hello.
Thanks, Denise. Are there any further questions or comments about this resolution?
I have a question. This is Georgie.
Yes.
What is the current annual amount?
It's the same amount, they haven't raised the price.
Okay, and how do they bill? Because the service is drastically reduced?
Yeah, so they bill monthly, it's been reduced. We did use CARES funds to bring them more in line with what their usual revenue stream would be for us. Obviously, with no care, with now the CARES money has run out, we're back to them providing about 20% of what they normally provide. So as soon as we can deploy more services, we will. The issue though is ridership is just not there.
So if the contract amount is 1.5 million last year, this year we assume the service will be about 20% less. So it'll.
Well, we don't know. I wouldn't go that far and say that it's 20% for the rest of the year.
Yeah, not the year. I'm sorry, but it won't reach that 1.5 million is what I'm asking.
No, not likely that they'll receive 1.5 million, right?
Okay.
I'd like to be optimistic and say $1 million, but you know, that one, that service, as most of you know, I think we had this discussion in committee, tied almost directly to the state workforce. 80 or 90% of the people who use that service are state employees. Almost all of them destined for downtown Albany. And right now, that part of the workforce either is not back full time or not back at all. So, you know, you'll see in if you look at the monthly ridership numbers, we're talking about 1,000 rides a month. We've dropped from 14,000, 15,000 to about 1,000 rides a month. So. And that's one of the reasons why we decided, you know, it would be in the best interest of everyone to roll the contract over for a year, because Upstate has been with us, Upstate/Brown has been with us for a number of years. They're a quality firm. They do a tremendous job. There was no reason to go out for competitive proposals right now. But Georgie, you're right. They're getting a fraction, or they will get right now a fraction of what they would normally bill.
Are there any other comments or questions? Seeing that there are none, all those in favor of passing resolution number 33, awarding a contract of Upstate Transportation of Saratoga LLC for Northway Express not to exceed 1.5 million, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing that there are none, the resolution is approved.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll continue. Our next contract was for bus batteries. We received 4 bids for the purchase of batteries for our buses. The staff recommends an award to the low bidder, which is Electro Battery Systems, for $150,572. They are the incumbent and provide a 1% cost decrease. We need a motion to award a 2-year contract to Electro Battery Systems Incorporated of Pompton Plains, New Jersey, for $150,572.
So at this time, we seek a motion to approve awarding contract to Electro Battery Systems of Pompton Plains, New Jersey, for a 2-year contract at an estimated cost of $150,572.
So moved.
Thanks, Dave.
Second.
Thanks, Georgie. Any further questions or concerns? It appears they're the incumbent and their service has been satisfactory to date, and fine. Good. Any other questions or comments from anyone?
No, just it's a 1% cost decrease, so
Yeah.
I think it's a good one.
Okay. All those in favor of passing resolution number 36, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing that there are none, resolution number 36 is approved.
Okay, our
Yes.
next item was a report from Sarah Matros, who provided her quarterly report, which is included in your packets. Sarah is recommending an abbreviated audit plan and risk assessment due to COVID. She also summarized the prevailing wage audit and universal access audit that were completed with some minor recommendations. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, the investment committee met this morning, so there will be a report that will be sent out to the board, probably by the end of the week. Mike and I met, and Phil Perillo met with Bob from, who are they called? It's Hugh Johnson Advisors. Anyway, sorry, forgot their name. Anyway, so we met with them this morning. And we will get that report out to you. Next, we had a couple of administrative discussion items, risk management and workers' compensation quarterly report. Amanda Avery gave her quarterly review of the adequacy of the risk management and workers' compensation self-insurance account. The committee determined that both accounts are adequate at this time. Any questions on that? Okay, and then we had our monthly management report. Mike Collins gave the monthly management report, fiscal management report. Revenue highlights include 4 strong consecutive months of mortgage recording tax. We resumed fair collections on August 19th, and we received 70% of our second quarter state operating assistance. And our 5307 operating grant is now available. Revenue is 49% above budget for the year. Expense highlights include wages being 5.6% under budget for the year. We had a couple of service categories over budget this month due to timing adjustments, but remain well under budget for the year. We paid off our $6.2 million line of credit, and expenses are down 10% for the year. Our financial picture is solid because of the CARES Act and the partial payments of our state operating assistance. We have drawn down most of the CARES Act funds and expect to exhaust that actually by the next month. We are projecting to end the fiscal year within budget, if not better than budget, because of the federal assistance. Any questions on the financial report? Okay. And then finally, the monthly non-financial report. Chris Desney gave the monthly non-financial report. Total ridership took a dip this month, coinciding with the resumption of fare collection, which has been a common trend in the industry. Fixed route boardings are down 22% this month and 34% for the year. Star boardings are down 39% this month and 50% for the year. Fixed route on-time performance is 74%, while Star on-time performance is 87%. There were 15 preventable accidents and 23 non-preventable accidents this month, well within our normal expectations. Any questions on the non-financial report? Okay, hearing none. The next, I'm sorry, was there a question?
No.
Okay. The next committee meeting is scheduled for noon on October 21st at 110 Watervliet Avenue or on Microsoft Teams. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Denise, for the reports and presentation of the resolutions. Thank you. Next up, we have the Community and Stakeholder Relations Committee report, and Jackie will provide that.
Thank you, Mike. The committee met on September 24th, 2020, and the staff provided presentations and updates surrounding corporate branding and communications. We had 2 presentations. So the first was Jonathan Scherzer, and he presented an update on CDTA branding efforts. A new sonic branding element was introduced to update and enhance our current branding guidelines. A sonic brand is audio that serves as a signature sound to reinforce our brand. The addition of this branding element shows innovation, forward thinking, continued growth, and provides content for future needs. The second presentation was performed by Jamie Watson. She summarized the monthly media community engagement report. Overall, there were 11 media stories on television and newspaper. Stories were related to our upcoming River Corridor BRT line, ridership, the Community Champions Awards, and other community engagement activities. Jamie also highlighted an article published in the Albany Business Review about community heroes, written by President and CEO of CDPHP, Dr. John Bennett. Dr. Bennett called out the good work being done by CDTA and all employees over the last 6 months in response to COVID-19. Jamie also discussed the changing landscape of community engagement and updated communications to keep employees, customers, and the public informed about CDTA efforts surrounding COVID-19. The next meeting of this committee will be held on Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at 11:30 a.m., both in person and via Microsoft Teams. Anyone have any questions? All right, hearing none, that concludes my report.
All right, Jackie, thank you for that as well. Next up, the Strategic and Operational Planning Committee met on September 24th, 12 p.m. here at 110 Waterville Ave and via Microsoft Teams. We have one consent agenda item. The Title VI statute is implemented via FTA regulation that ensures equity when transit systems make major service and operational decisions. The intent of Title VI is consistent with CDTA's goals that service and fair decisions take into consideration the impact to our customers of all demographics. As per our Title VI program, CDTA must conduct a service equity analysis when a major service change is proposed. The River BRT qualifies as a major service change. Through a geographic data analysis of each individual service change as well as the total collective changes, we have determined that there will be no disparate impact upon minority populations nor a disproportionate burden upon low-income populations. Accordingly, no further changes must be made to the Blue Line service plan. The detailed analysis document was provided to committee members when we distributed the agenda. So at this time, we need a motion to approve the River Corridor Bus Rapid Transit Title VI Service Equity Analysis.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second. It's Jackie.
All right, thanks, Jackie. Any further questions or comments? Seeing that there's
Nope.
none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing that there are none, the Title VI Service Equity Analysis is approved. And we had one administrative discussion item in the committee, River BRT Outreach and Promotional Plan. John Scherzer and Jamie Watson gave a presentation and facilitated discussion on the marketing, communication, and branding plans for the River BRT. Key targeted audiences include employees, stakeholders, media, and customers. Outreach will include newspapers, posters, launch events, promotional items, and ribbon cutting. We will focus on the benefits of BRT by conducting virtual town halls and reaching out to bids, route businesses, service partners, and directly to customers on the street. The blue line will be tied into the broader BRT message, existing red line, future purple line. It will also be important to effectively communicate the nuances of the changes to minimize any confusion. There were no executive session items scheduled. The next meeting of this committee will be on Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at 12 p.m., either here at 110 Waterville Ave or via Microsoft Teams. So that concludes my report. Next up, we have Carm in the CEO's report.
Thanks, Mike. My report is in today's packet. I'm going to jump around a little bit. Obviously, with all the talk of the Blue Line, the River Corridor BRT, a couple of comments about that. Basically, we're set to go. We're just honing in on a start date sometime in the first 2 weeks of November. If you travel the corridor, it's pretty hard to miss. Pat, Lance, and I were talking. Kat lives in Lansingburg, and you know, we're a little obviously proud of our work, but we think that we've actually had an impact on the community there. It's just remarkable when you drive the corridor to see the stations and how they've been integrated into basically the urban landscape. There are large stations, small stations. thin stations to accommodate sidewalks and things of that nature. But sidewalks are another important thing. We all know how important they are for transit use. Good sidewalks usually equals more ridership. We've literally built miles of sidewalks along the corridor. A lot of the areas in and around the shelters are now heated sidewalks, so we'll make the waiting experience a little more comfortable. Most of the stations are at crosswalks. We've rebuilt the crosswalks in almost all cases. We've installed new signals. A lot of the signals are talking to each other, so it's a smarter corridor. I don't think we spend enough time reiterating how this is a community investment. Yes, it's good for CDTA, it's good for our customers, but it's good for the community. And both PRT lines, the first and the second now PRT line, we've done this, and we will do the same thing with the third PRT line. And we're really bringing, I think, added value to communities by improving the infrastructure in those communities. So hats off to all the guys and gals who've done this work here at CDTA, our contractors. It's almost done. A little bit more work to do. Chris Desney, Jeremy Smith, Ross Farrell, Rich Cordero, and I'm forgetting a few, have an exhaustive punch list, but we're ready to go. The buses are here. They're being ready for service, fare boxes, testing, acceptance, all of that type of thing. Most of them are here. We're doing the testing here, then they'll be shipped up the road to Troy and be ready for service there. The garage project, as you know, we're in the middle of a almost $6 million renovation to the garage, much needed renovation. That building opened 9 months before I started at CDTA, so it's a very old building. It has really not had an overall update. So not only is it bigger, better maintenance capabilities, but when we're all done, it'll be a better facility for the employees who work there. So there are a lot of balls in the air right now as we're in the home stretch, but the last 10% is usually the hardest part. Jackie talked about, or Mike talked about the outreach program, and that is in process now. As soon as we firm up that date to start, again, it'll be the first 2 weeks of November. We'll be set to go. But all thumbs up so far. It really looks great. You get a chance to drive a part of the corridor, and it's a long corridor. It starts in Albany, goes all the way up with its extensions into Waterford and Cohoes. It's refreshing because it looks so great. It really does. So take a peek if you get a chance. We talked about ridership. We're watching it closely. We were sort of on a high through the summer. We were back to almost 85% of what we had been same time last year, but it was amazing as soon as we turned the fare boxes back on, like almost every system in the country, we saw about a 10 or 15% dip. And we're struggling a little bit. Universal access, we really can't predict what's going to happen because colleges, they're a big part of the universal access program. They're in, they're out, they're here, they're not here. And for all of you that have kids in college right now, things seem to change like overnight. Overnight, you'll hear that a school is been shut down, and not shut down, but everybody's been sent home. So that is certainly affecting our ridership. Hopefully, if we get a little stability, that part of our business will come back. However, on the plus side, CDPHP cycle week over week is like literally breaking our records. With 14 weeks of the riding season done, we're almost halfway to what the ridership number was last year with 7 months of ridership numbers behind us. So Lindsay Garney and her gang of men and women, it's a gang because they're out every day, every morning looking for bikes, retrieving them, putting them back. the ridership on bikes is just outstanding. So it, I guess, is the right alternative for people. That's, you know, the preferred way to travel. And we're doing a great job in that regard. I think we talked a lot about community champions, but we kind of stumbled into this. It was part of the 50th anniversary plan. We stumbled into it, and with great work by Jamie Watson and Allie Schreffler, we think we may have found an angle in that. And really, it's CDTA recognizing people in the community who do great work. And really, it's people who you might not otherwise hear about. Not big, recognizable organizations with marquee names. Most of these are people who are running food kitchens out of the back of a Toyota, literally, or who are, you know, bringing Christmas trees to kids who normally wouldn't get a Christmas tree if it wasn't for this concerned citizen. So we're looking to see how it fits, but it looks like we'll give it a shot again next year and see if we can make it a little bit bigger and a little bit better. Couple of quick updates here at 110 Watervliet Avenue, the health center, the CDTA Health Center powered by CDPHP, I finally got it right, is just about set. Looks like we'll open it next week. We're going to start with some of the standardized procedures, physicals, drug testing, that type of thing, and then introduce it really as a wellness clinic to our employees, a place where they can go and get a sore elbow checked. They've got a runny nose and they're worried about, you know, should I see my doctor, that type of thing. We have a nurse practitioner, she's on site, and a part-time physical therapist will be here on schedule to be determined. But after a lot of work, that's a great new addition, I think, for CDTA, hopefully, long-term, has a significant impact on the health and well-being of our employees. So we're really happy about that. The Oakland building across the street, we hit a couple of hiccups, but it looks like we're clear of that. I think Chris Desney is going to personally drive a tractor trailer or something through there and knock it down himself. But we ran into some permitting issues, but looks like it's behind us. It'll hopefully be down the next time you're by 110 Watervliet Avenue. But that's where the work really begins. We're going to construct a parking lot there, which we need badly. We really have run out of room here. And then next spring, it'll all be connected. And we want to make this a campus feel so that it's not just this lot where people park. It's all connected, and we can do a better job of connecting 85 Watervliet Avenue up the hill to 110. Lastly, our strategic plan. You may not have heard much about it. It's not because nothing's happening, but our marketing and communications and outreach people are working on bringing the plan to life, and not just a printed booklet, but posters and reminders and things that we can use to talk to the three audience groups: customers, employees, and stakeholders. And it's great to do a strategic plan. It's great to have 7 pillars, but what does it mean to those 3 groups, and what can they expect from CDTA, the organization? Georgie, we're going to take down the mission statement up here on the wall. We'll have a lot of space because it's very short, and I've decided I'm going to put it in all of my documents. CDTA provides mobility solutions that connect the region's communities. And I know that we labored over that. I'm glad we did. I'm glad we labored over it and agreed and disagreed and wordsmithed it, because I think we got it right. I think that mission statement separates us from others. We're short, we're sweet, we're to the point, and we get it done. So hats off to everybody who worked on the plan, and hopefully this time next month we'll have some of those collateral materials ready for you. I said last but not least, one more last but not least. I say this every month, but it just continues to amaze me how in the middle of a pandemic, we keep getting things done, and we keep getting things done because of the people who work here. Everybody from a cleaner to a technician to a person with a director title, is getting it done. Some people are working remotely, some people are here 3 days a week, some people are here 7 days a week. But you all kind of band together, get it done. Proud of everything they do, and hope they continue to do it because they make guys like me look real good.
Thank you, Carm, for that report. Yeah, a lot of things going on, and everyone's looking forward to the River BRT and that ribbon cutting ceremony. And a lot of hard work by a lot of people. Yeah.
I'm sure Bob will appreciate that.
We'll stop at our house.
We don't have our parade anymore, so we have to,
Yeah. But no, I would piggyback on what Carm said, that, it is incredible through these difficult times how the service provided by all the employees, has been stellar and, did not miss a beat. And we certainly appreciate everyone's dedication and loyalty and service to the organization. So thanks, Carmen, management, and all the employees of the organization. Are there any other questions or comments from any other board members?
Nope, not for me.
Seeing that there's none, at this time we seek a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right.
Take care.
Okay.
Stay safe.
All right.
Thanks again for your attendance.